you post something now on Facebook, unless you're willing to pay for ads, very few people see that. Whereas on LinkedIn, you can share the same way. You can post as a company, you can post as a person, but the organic reach is still really strong on LinkedIn. It's really not uncommon for me to I have 4,000 people who follow me. It's not uncommon for me to put a post up that gets viewed by 9,000 or 15,000 people. Your whole ethos here in the podcast is provide value first, help validate people, and think of this exactly the same way on LinkedIn. Make them feel special. Let them know that you appreciate them, that you look up to them, that you follow their content, you follow their company, anything like that that helps them understand that it's not all about you, it's about them.
Hey Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery, and this is take 2 with AJ Wilcox because your bonehead host did not start the recording the first time. So thank you for bearing with me, AJ.
No problem, David. I'm super excited to be here.
It's such a rookie mistake. It's funny. I haven't done that in a few years, but it's all good, man. Appreciate you, taking the time. So you own a LinkedIn ads company where you founded in 2014. It's called B2LINKED.com. I got it right that time. See, so I learned something. You are official partners with LinkedIn. You manage some of the world's most sophisticated advertising accounts. He's a ginger and an athlete. A triathlete. So what's a ginger? Tell us again.
Yeah. Ginger is a redhead. I had red hair ever since I was little, and I wear it proudly on my sleeve.
Very good. Very good. And I know you're also, it says you're a triathlete. I think I told you I was training right now for a race, a 73 Ironman in September. So that's awesome. And you live in Utah with your wife and 4 kids, and your company is a wicked fast goat cart. What do you mean by goat cart anyway?
I have a pretty fast little go-kart. I actually have 2 of them. One will do about 50 and one will do about 130. I call them my company car because if you're ever around Utah, you might see a chubby dude flying around the streets in a low-to-the-ground go-kart. It's probably me.
130 in a goat-kart, dude?
Yeah, I've never hit anywhere close to it, but it's quick.
That's ridiculous. I watch a lot of, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch like Prime or Netflix and stuff like that. And they have a lot of shows with like the Grand Prix car. Actually, they're not Grand Prix cars, are they? They're like Indy cars. What are they called? Is it Grand Prix?
Is it F1?
Yeah, I think F1. Yeah, there's a couple good shows on, and I love watching those things. And they show those cars are just ridiculous, like 1,000 horsepower. And anyway, we're sorry, we're like way off track now. But I love cars. I'm a car guy. My listeners know I'm a car guy. So listen again. Thank you for spending time with us today. I know I boneheaded it for the first 13 minutes. So let's see if we can talk about everything we talked about before because it was actually so good. So first off, why LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is a really cool network for a lot of reasons, and I think a lot of people tend to overlook it. But here's why it's so cool. There are 630 million professionals on the network, and most of them are white-collar professionals. So you're talking about the upper echelon of earners who are there for a business purpose. So you know that they're in the right mindset. It's also been the replacement Rolodex for the majority of these white-collar professionals too. They used to get your business card, and now they just connect with you on LinkedIn. And so having a presence there is how they remember who they know. So it's really important to be there. Something I like to think about is, there are 3 different ways that people use the platform. Number 1 is to have a profile that lets you be found when people are searching for you. One is to actually do outreach where you're actively building your network and adding people to your network who are influential that could become really good customers for you someday. And then the third is how you can make your content go viral to get seen by people who are not already connected to you. And LinkedIn is by far the easiest network in the world to go viral on right now.
Hey, what's up, Masters? AJ Wilcox is talking to us about how we can boost our business and, if we choose, go viral, my friends, on LinkedIn. I know recently I started using LinkedIn a lot more to make connections, and it's more of the professional network where Facebook is more personal. So, and he'll talk more about that as well. So it's super exciting, a great episode, and he's bringing you some solid meat and potatoes, my friends. That said, listen, check out our sponsor, Vulcan 7, because without Vulcan 7, as you know, we are not able to do this podcast. So here's the thing you want to know about Vulcan 7. Listen, they're not just a dialer. They have a training platform built in. They have videos, training. They have weekly live webinars. They have a built-in CRM. The system's phenomenal, and all the data is the best. A calendar system. Check them out. I mean, just go to vulcan7.com/path to mastery. And right now, they're doing a month-to-month. You sign up for 1 month, and you get a year's expireds for free, going back a year old expired. So it's a great deal. Check it out. Again, vulcan7.com/path to mastery. My friends, check out the reluctantsalesperson.net. It's a live training I'm going to be doing on call reluctance. We all have forms of it. I've been doing this over 35 years now, my friends. Started selling Kirby vacuum cleaners at 16, almost 17, my first job, and I'm still doing it here almost, not quite 35 years, 33 years to be exact. And finally, listen, next week's episode is going to be amazing as well. Going out to Mega Camp, and I'm going to be talking to all the top producing agents, not all of them, the ones though that I can get their attention and I can get them to do a short interview, and I want to find out from them what they're doing right now as this industry is changing so much to stay relevant, and I'm going to be sharing that with you on our next episode. So our next episode is live from Mega Camp 2019. My friends, you rock. Enjoy AJ Wilcox, and remember, the key to success is action, my friends. Implementation. Don't just listen to this. Go take action on what AJ is sharing with us. Enjoy. Something else you said, the 3 ways to use the platform. I've always kind of, LinkedIn's been kind of secondary. And that's obviously why I wanted to have you on a podcast, because I keep hearing more about how important LinkedIn's becoming, especially in the business world. I'd get emails from people that I'd ignore, or it would be, hey, I want to connect with you, or hey, I do mortgages, like we should have coffee, or see my insurance quote, what, just stuff like random, oh, happy anniversary, all these kind of random things. And then every once in a while though, I'd get like hey, I'm looking to hire a realtor to sell my house. Would you be interested? And I'd miss those things. Obviously now is the time we should be paying attention to this, but should agents be looking at LinkedIn over Facebook? Should we be doing them together? I know a lot of agents now are using Facebook and some of the other media networks, Instagram. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you definitely should be on both. I mean, both really afford a huge benefit to anyone in real estate. On Facebook side, that tends to be where most people congregate. But of course, when you post something now on Facebook, unless you're willing to pay for ads, very few people see that. Whereas on LinkedIn, you can share the same way. You can post as a company, you can post as a person, but the organic reach is still really strong on LinkedIn. It's really not uncommon for me to I have 4,000 people who follow me. It's not uncommon for me to put a post up that gets viewed by 9,000 or 15,000 people. And I go, well, okay, so who's seeing this if that number is much larger than my followers? And the answer is it's those viral impressions. This is LinkedIn saying, hey, this is valuable content. Let me put you in other people's feeds because this is an interesting conversation that they should be a part of. It's disproportionately a much larger reach and more impact when you can put a message out on LinkedIn that provides value to people. And in exchange, thousands of people see it rather than hundreds or tens. So,
I mean, that's $1 million question then, right? I mean, how do you put something out there that's getting 900 or 9,000 views or whatever? I put stuff out that gets like 10, and I'm like, okay, that's great. So how do you do that? Or is that something you have to pay for?
No, it's not something you pay for at all. In fact, I mean, we can spend a lot of time talking about the ad side of LinkedIn because that's really what we do. On the organic side, the reach is so strong. And I think that's because on Facebook, there are so many people just putting out junk that they've got to filter through. They've got to try to distill it down. But on LinkedIn, I think we're all a little bit afraid of hitting the button to post something that our entire professional network is going to see. And so it means that only the best stuff comes through. But LinkedIn still has to fill up people's news feeds when they come. And so they end up looking outside of your network to try to fill it with other good content. And so what they're looking for are social signals. They want to see likes, comments, and shares on your posts. The most important one is a comment. So when you post something out, if someone hits like, I don't know what these numbers actually look like, but call it, a like is worth 1 point. Or if they hit reshare and they're actually resharing your post to their network, call that worth like 3 points. And then anytime someone hits comment and they're actually starting a conversation on your post, call that worth 5 points. What happens is you post it out, and let's say you have 500 connections. LinkedIn looks at it immediately and says, okay, there's 500 people here who are eligible to see the post. And then as soon as any of them start hitting like, comment, or share, they go, ooh, let's show it to 5% of that person's audience or 10% of their audience. And then all of a sudden now you start getting views from people who are outside of your own network. And that's by definition going viral.
Interesting. Seems like LinkedIn is more professional network where you're connecting with professionals. And I guess some of the other medias like Facebook, Instagram is more personal. Is that about right?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people are using LinkedIn more like Facebook, like just getting a little bit more personal, a little bit more transparent into their work-life type of balance. But certainly you would never put bikini pictures or vacation photos or, pictures of you in a bar on LinkedIn. It does have to stay a little bit more professional than Facebook and Instagram in that regard.
So I'm wondering if that's maybe some of the mistakes that people make, because sometimes like you'll post something on Facebook, maybe it's a positive quote or something, right? Or something family based, and then post the same thing on LinkedIn. Should they be different, or can you do that?
Yeah, you certainly can. And in fact, I would invite you to try it and just see what the difference is. See how many more views it gets on Facebook versus LinkedIn. And if you're running the same test, trying the same content that you know is going to be valuable to anyone who sees it, that's a really good guide to let you understand which network you should be spending more time on.
Okay. In the interview that we did before that wasn't recorded, we talked about sending messages. That was a good interview, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. We talked about, well, it's funny because, I'm like struggling here because I'm trying to remember all the good stuff we talked about. I can't remember, and it's actually throwing me out. This is really weird, dude. Anyway, I can't wait to listen to this again. But the bottom line is, you talked about you can connect with anybody through LinkedIn, through the messenger, right? Sending messages. Talk to us about that.
Connecting to someone on LinkedIn, it's a double opt-in, really. You can send someone a connection request, and if they want to be connected to you, they can accept it. So that's two people saying we want to be connected to each other. There are ways around it. There are ways that, like, you could buy a premium license to LinkedIn, and every month LinkedIn gives you something like 10 to 25 messages that you can send to people that you're not already connected to. But a lot of times those just come across like spam. I mean, some of the examples you shared are just like someone overtly trying to sell you something and you don't even know them. That kind of thing just doesn't work very well. It's not a great place to start a relationship. So what I would recommend doing is anyone that you want to be connected to, go to their profile, and when you click connect from the desktop, it'll ask you, do you want to customize your request? And absolutely you do. Like, you always want to 100% customize it. If you're doing this from the mobile app, if you just hit the connect button, it'll just send the default connection request, and you don't want that. So click into the options on the side and then say personalize invite. Your whole goal is, what can I say to this person to make them want to be connected to me? David, I know your whole ethos here in the podcast is provide value first, help validate people, and think of this exactly the same way on LinkedIn. You start out simply by make sure it's highly customized. They know that you are writing this to them. This isn't just an automated copy paste for someone else, and make them feel special. Let them know that you appreciate them, that you look up to them, that you follow their content, you follow their company, anything like that that helps them understand that it's not all about you, it's about them. Then you'll probably have a 95% or higher acceptance of your connection requests, whereas you'd probably have less than 50% if you just send the default.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So when you're connecting with somebody, have some point of connection if you have it, or if not, at least show them that you have been interested enough to maybe read some of their posts or know what's going on. Like, I connected with a guy the other day, big commercial investor, and I noticed on Facebook it was him and his wife were on their anniversary the day before. So obviously wished him a happy anniversary, and he responded right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all the little things like that that really make a difference, that you're paying attention.
It does. And LinkedIn is going to, I mean, it's just like Facebook. They're going to notify you every time it's someone's birthday. And so when it's your birthday, you're going to get a flood of, happy birthday, man. You don't want to be in that swarm of people that they either have to ignore or take 6 hours to respond to everyone. What you want to do is you want to be hitting them up on a time where they're not expecting it. So I love the anniversary thing. If you can see from a different network, they have a special occasion going on that LinkedIn or Facebook aren't telling people about actively. Great. Reach out then and you'll stand out.
Yeah. Well, it was on Facebook, so I'm guessing a lot of people did that as well. But anyway, it was a connection point, though. Now, you mentioned premium licenses. Is that something you would recommend, buying the premium license? Remember, our listeners are real estate agents, majority, so...
Yeah, I think it's something I would definitely try to get the most out of LinkedIn for free you can. If you're doing a good job, though, of every day you're searching for people, trying to add the right people to your network that you want to be connected to, at some point you'll hit a screen that just says, hey, you've used all your searches for the month. If you hit that and you're like, oh, okay, I've got a little bit of the month left, that's when you might want to consider upgrading your profile. There's one called LinkedIn Pro that pretty much gets you all of the training from lynda.com, or what they call LinkedIn Learning now. So that's kind of cool. Plus you get extra search features and, a few of those messages you can send out to people. But if you want to go really hardcore, there's one that's about $80 a month called Sales Navigator. That's what professional salespeople who just do outreach all day long use. You have all the search features at your disposal, but certainly start from free first, see how much you can get out of it. And then if you have to pay kicking and screaming.
Masters, we are going to get you right back to the show. Listen, this really helps to keep this podcast going. So please, our sponsors, Vulcan7.com, for all the data you need for making phone calls, a dialer built in, a CRM built in, a calendar system. If you need data for expireds, for sale by owners, you want to pull your sphere of influence, check out Vulcan 7 for 2 weeks for only $49. Check out the service. If you love it, keep with it. Vulcan7.com/path to mastery. Listen, free books, okay? Who doesn't love a free book? If you love podcasts, you're going to love Audible. It's audio books. As a matter of fact, I would get yourself a copy of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind right now. Just go to davidsfreebook.com. Yep, they're going to ask you to sign up. But here's what you do. You sign up, and then you just set a reminder in your calendar. So if you don't want to stick with Audible, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't want to, then just cancel before your card is ever charged. Okay, so you get, again, a free audiobook from Audible, davidsfreebook.com. And finally, putting together an amazing program webinar series on sales call reluctance, which starts October 3rd. Just go to listnow.us to check it out. Anything you need to know about limiting beliefs, about call reluctance, fear of rejection, fear of success. We're covering them all, my friends. October 3rd, check it out. Listnow.us. You rock. So talk to us about ads, because I know before we started, you mentioned your business is ads. You had said, though, a lot of real estate agents don't use ads. However, on Facebook, I think we're starting to get bombarded with ads. Do you think it would make sense for realtors to start using ads on LinkedIn now?
Well, here's what you want to consider about LinkedIn ads specifically. They're a lot more targeted than Facebook for business professionals. The targeting is amazing. We can target by like job title and seniority and department and company industry, company size, skills, groups. And we have all of this targeting at our disposal, but none of those targeting facets tell me that someone is looking to move. So I look at it and go, okay, well, LinkedIn, I have a really high value target here, but nothing tells me that they're going to be a good potential future customer for me. So I just don't see paying money for that being worthwhile. And then on top of that, LinkedIn's ads are pretty expensive on a cost per click basis. On Facebook, we're going to probably pay between $1 to $2 a click. On LinkedIn, it's oftentimes $6 to $9 a click. So on the residential side, I just can't figure out how it could work. But certainly on commercial side, I think there is value there because you're targeting people by it's a small business owner that you know might be ready to expand, or an office manager who might be in charge of looking for a bigger building or something. Like those, I think there could be a good use case for.
Okay, fair enough. I'm listening and thinking like, a lot of real estate agents are looking to do business with like national relocation companies, maybe finding somebody on an executive team or CEO or somebody reaching out to them through LinkedIn, right?
Oh, yeah.
That might be a great connection. Or banks, when a lot of banks do sell properties, they have inventory they need to get rid of. So I'm just thinking, as I'm listening, there might be some opportunities out there because now you can connect.
Exactly. And if you're doing it, I mean, we're talking about this now and brainstorming a little bit. That means there probably aren't a whole lot of other people who are using these strategies. So be the first, get to it now.
Yeah, I need to do it before I release this episode. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding now. But yeah, no, it's given me some really great ideas on how to use those emails. And another thing, we used to do, but I think we stuck to Facebook with it, is people's houses would come off the market and we'd know the owner's name. We could usually get their name and address, so we could find them on Facebook and send them a Facebook message. But you could do the same thing on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's true. LinkedIn doesn't open up their API, meaning that there aren't a whole lot of tools out there that help you necessarily leverage LinkedIn in a bulk kind of way. But certainly this is the network that stands out. If someone is getting 20, 30 messages on Facebook and they're getting bogged down, but they log into LinkedIn and only 2 people are trying to get their attention, guess who's getting responded to? So can be a really good opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if, let's say John Smith's house on 123 Main Street just came off the market. First day, he's going to get 35 agents are going to call him and he's going to get a ton of mail and all this other junk. But I'm guessing probably nobody's found him on LinkedIn and then sends him a nice message through LinkedIn saying, hey, I noticed your house came off the market. We've helped a lot of people in the same situation. If you're at all, whatever. I think that might be a cool opportunity. I've never done that before. And, it's always been a big part of my business. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let me know how that one goes.
I will, dude. Well, listen, all right, you're doing ads, creating an organic presence on LinkedIn, growing your business organically. Where would we start with that?
Well, I think we have to start with your profile because that's really the face of your whole brand on LinkedIn. I'll give you a few tips. I call this the Pareto rule for LinkedIn profiles because it's also known as the 80-20 rule. These are the 20% of things that you can do to your profile that make 80% of the difference. So number one, make sure your profile picture is nice and tight around your face. The profile picture is a circle for a reason. They want to see your face in there. So don't have it be you and your high school girlfriend. Don't have it be you from 30 yards back in the middle of a forest. Like, you want it tight around your face and a pretty good picture so people could recognize you if you met at a Starbucks for the first time.
Okay.
So that's number one. Number two, make sure that your headline is not just your job title, not just I'm a real estate agent for Keller Williams, but you make it more like I help people get into their dream home. Or David, I see you've got changing lives one person at a time as yours. I mean, these are great. It's a little bit intriguing and it tells someone more than just what's your job title and where you work. And then finally, I think you want to go down to that about section. LinkedIn used to call it the summary, and you've got somewhere between, I think it's 1,300 characters, but it might be 2,000. But this is free-form text. You can write whatever you want. And so you want to tell people your story. People don't do business with someone because it's a product. They do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So use this to tell your whole story, why you love what you're doing, how you provide value more than other people, where you've been featured, all that good social proof stuff, testimonials. Those are all great things to add into that about section. And if you do that right, every time that someone comes to your page, you're going to have a higher rate of people who want to connect with you, want to have conversations with you, and then want to essentially be a lead for you.
Okay, that makes sense. So it says your dashboard. I'm looking at it now. It's funny. As you said that, I went into my page. I'm like, oh man, how am I doing? It shows 75 people viewed your profile, 35 post views, 22 appearances. Should we be paying attention to that, AJ?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, any sort of profile views are good. This means that you're showing up in people's searches for some reason, or you have connections who are trying to look you up. LinkedIn really is my Rolodex for all of my business connections. And so if I go, I forgot that guy's name, but I know he did real estate in Massachusetts. Where do I go? And I'm going to type in a few things into LinkedIn, and I'm going to come and look for your profile. So those are good metrics to watch. And then we were talking about sharing content and going viral. Those are going to be the activity there, the post views, and that's what you're going to be watching there.
Obviously, 35 is not quite viral yet, but we're working on that. So, and then when I click on it, my poor editor's going to have a ton of editing in this episode. I'm just kidding. We're going to let it run, man. However, when I click on it, the post views, it says reactivate for free. turn off private mode. So I actually have to reactivate something to see who's viewing my profile. Oh, so now it's trying to get me to use premium, right? So is that just LinkedIn trying to say, hey, you want to know who's looking at your profile? You have to pay us?
Oh, good question. No, what it's telling you right now is you have a privacy setting turned on where if you go and look at someone's profile, they don't know that you visited their page. If you have that privacy setting turned on because you don't want to have people know when you visited their profile, it also means that LinkedIn's going to hide the people who visit your profile from you.
Oh, got it. Okay.
If you want to see them, what you do is you just go and enable that setting where they can see who it was who viewed their page, and then you can start seeing everyone else's.
Oh, so I just have to go into settings and make that change.
Yep, and that's a pretty simple one. And some people like to stalk quietly, and that's okay. But certainly, if you're in any sort of sales position where you could feasibly get leads, there's nothing wrong with people seeing that you've been there and helping stay top of mind, helping brand yourself. So I'm totally cool with leaving that setting.
Yeah, I honestly don't even remember turning it off, to be honest with you, unless it was maybe default. I don't know. So, well, what didn't I ask you that I should have? What should we have talked about that we didn't today?
We talked about the profiles, getting people to come and find you and reference you. We talked about the outreach, what you can do to start conversations and go and find the right people because LinkedIn has amazing targeting. And we talked a little bit about the content as well. What can you post? I think the one piece that I want everyone to understand when you're posting things organically is it's very similar to Facebook in this regard. If you post something that, let's say it's text only or has an image or has a video, a lot of people are going to see that. LinkedIn likes that kind of stuff. But the second you put a link in there, taking someone to somewhere else, LinkedIn goes, ooh, he's trying to take the traffic away from us.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, where we get value. And he's trying to take it somewhere else. They really cut the legs off your post. So all that virality I was talking about before really goes away as soon as you link out. So do what you can to post and not take people away from LinkedIn, even if it's like a comment below and I'll send you an email or I'll reach out privately, something like that will help your post get seen by a lot more people. Also, make sure that you're sharing stuff regularly that just like it doesn't even have to be business related, but you're sharing regularly so that everyone in your network and even people outside, you're just staying top of mind for them. Because as I'm sure you never know when someone in your network is looking to move, looking to buy a house, looking to buy a rental property. You just don't know. But if you're constantly staying top of mind for them, then chances are they're going to reach out to you first when they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. Well, hey, I just want to say I definitely appreciate your time. I told you before, we're in the process now of launching a commercial division. So you think for commercial real estate, it would make more sense to run advertisements?
Definitely. Yeah. On the commercial side, the deal sizes are so much larger that it doesn't hurt to pay $6 to $9 a click to get people starting that position. Whereas for a residential property, I think it would. Also, the targeting makes a lot more sense because you're targeting people who are actually in charge of making those decisions about buying commercial property or leasing. So I think that side of the business makes a lot more sense.
Got it. Okay. So if you're going to focus on residential, it's more like let's build your profile, create an organic, some organic connections. And if you're going to focus more on the business side or the commercial side, obviously you might want to run some advertisements.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, on the commercial side, it also makes sense to be interacting organically, but certainly the targeting on the ad side makes that a lot more effective.
Okay, awesome, man. How do our listeners get in touch with you if somebody is interested in working with you for anything, profile, for advertisements? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. If you go to B2LINKED.com and fill out the form at the bottom of any of the pages, you won't go to a sales rep and you won't go to my marketing automation workflow or newsletter. You'll go just to my inbox, and I'm not a sales guy. So feel free to reach out, ask anything. I'm really approachable.
Yeah, it's funny. As we were talking, I shut that thing off and now it's showing me who did that. So thank you for that great tip today.
Nice.
All right, my friend. And a final question, listen, I know it's my fault. We were kind of all over the place. What would you say is the one thing that everybody listening to this today, what should they be taking from this? What's one thing they should really implement right away?
I think you should go onto your profile and just make sure you're putting the best face forward on LinkedIn, and then just make sure that you're present, because I'm oftentimes surprised when people go, oh, LinkedIn, that's interesting. I bet I could get leads there, because I've been generating business. I've been getting job offers on LinkedIn since I opened a profile in 2007. So it blew my mind that it wasn't producing the same results for everyone. And so I would say you don't even have to do it right. Just get on and start doing something, and chances are it's going to help your business.
One more question. So as I'm here playing around with it now and talking to you, it keeps asking me to join premium. Should I join premium? Like, what are the benefits to joining premium or just keeping it regular profile?
Premium, it will let you do more searches, more outreach. It'll give you a little bit better of search criteria as you're searching. So if you're in a sales role and you're constantly looking to do outreach, you may find that useful. But again, I'd say start out with just the free one. Ignore LinkedIn sales pitches to try to upsell you. Just do whatever you can on free. And if you ever hit the barrier where you go, I want to do more, but LinkedIn's telling me I ran out of searches or whatever, that's when I would suggest, sure, try the trial. They'll always throw you a free month trial and consider upgrading.
Good advice, man. All right. Well, hey, man, AJ, I just want to say I appreciate your time and thank you for bearing with me today.
Hey, no problem, David. Thanks so much for sharing me with your whole audience. I hope you guys all got value out of this.
Masters, I just want to thank you sincerely for supporting me in the podcast. And listen, before you move on, I know you're ready to get to what's next. Please give us a review. It helps tremendously. You can also subscribe. Just go to stayrelevant.biz. That's it, stayrelevant.biz. You can subscribe to the podcast here so you get the update every week. You get your new episode and you can leave a review. Also, if you're thinking about launching a podcast, people reach out to me on a pretty much a weekly basis asking me about starting a podcast. Best way to do that is to check out David Jackson's School of Podcasting. If you want, there's a 20% discount code. Just go to schoolofpodcasting.com/mastery and you can get yourself a 20% discount code. So check that out. David's free book. You've probably heard of that 10,000 times. So just go to davidsfreebook.com, get yourself a free book on Audible. You're never charged. What do you got to lose? Nothing. And then finally, guys, health and nutrition, as you know, is number one to me with triathlons. I've been super fit since I started working out at 17, never stopped. All the best health and nutrition products you can get, from vitamins, protein powder, energy bars, food bars, whatever you need, it's all there. livelongersmarter.com. Check out Advocare and try out the Spark. You're going to absolutely love the Spark. Again, listen, just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just so appreciate you investing this time. And I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day and enjoy on your path to mastery.